Well, the first snippet tree block is finished. Let me bring you down so you can see it good. Okay, I'm going to add sequins to all of my snippet trees. I just think that gives it quite a bit of different pizzazz, little artsy look to it, and I love the little glitz there. Can you see that good? Can you see all the different parts and pieces? Let me show that to you well. All right. Let's go back up. So we're going to be making these blocks. My block is cut 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. And so it measures out like that. Let's see, I've got a little extra hangover here. Looks kind of whoppy doodle. But I love it. I think it's cute. I think it lends itself to all kinds of color play, texture play, all our snippets. If we don't have snippets, we can take any of our fabric scraps and cut them into snippets. You know, and a snippet is so maybe, it can be irregular, but somewhere around an inch square to 1.5 inches. It can be triangular, rectangle. It can be any size, but it's kind of in that range so that it works on any snippet rolls and things like that you want to do. But it makes a perfect little tree, and we can use whatever scraps for the trunk and our scrap pieces of yarn, ribbon, thread, whatever we have for the bottom here. And that's going to be just wonderful. So that's what this one looks like. And as soon as I get some more made and put together, we'll come back. Now this is going to be put together just like all my other quilts in this Wild and Free quilt series, okay? So I'll be demonstrating that a little bit too, but you can check any of the other quilts to see how the blocks are connected, and then choose a sashing style for your sashing and put that on too. But anyway, we'll be getting into all that. But this is quilt number 6. Okay. Welcome, welcome. Are you having trouble putting your snippet trees together or deciding what you want to put on there? I thought I would show you my mock-up, what I start with before I start sewing. Now, I have my batting square in the back, and I have a piece of sheeting, old sheeting over the top. That's my background, kind of a faded pink. And then I came in and I put a pin about 1 inch inside of that border so that I could tell where I needed to be with my design, so that I didn't get too far out to the edge, because remember that we're going to have a scrappy sashing on here, so I need room for the sashing. So I kind of block off my inside pattern roughly. There's the pin down there. And then I try to design within that element. Now this pin is just holding on the tree trunk. I take and I position my snippets. You know, there's no rhyme or reason. Sometimes I'll start in the middle and build out. Sometimes I'll build around the outside edge and then fill in the middle. That's the way I did this one. It just depends on my mood, I guess. I don't have a real reason for doing it either way. It's just whatever I feel like doing, and that works. Now, once I get something down and I like it, and then I pin it, that doesn't mean that I can't come and add another piece on top here. If I wanted to add something, let's say I just wanted to put a circle in there, I could do that. You know, you can add more to your design. Once you get your base tree down, it doesn't really matter. Now, as you know, I'm using scrappy pieces of yarn and trim for my growth or my foliage or my ground to ground my tree, you might say. And this is 2 little pieces of this different wound up yarn here, and then this little bought trim right here, little rosettes. And so I will put that down something like that, okay? And so when I pin, I just try to pin liberally, just so that I can get everything down. And when I pick it up to sew it, everything doesn't fall off. And I can't remember where exactly I wanted it all. So a lot of times, start on the outside edges and pin toward the middle is a good idea for me. Okay. Once I get my design down, I can take off my perimeter pins because I know I'm where I need to be with this design. I don't have to keep those pins there. So I can take them off and use them. You can see, let me bring you up. You can see that I've got all kinds of fabrics, laces and shears and wovens, and just whatever is in my snippet bucket gets used. There's even some yarn right here that I'm just going to add to this tree. Again, it's your scrappy snippets. Whatever thrown in your snippet bucket, that's what you want to use. If you don't have a snippet bucket, why not? That's my question. Why not? Snippet buckets are wonderful. Look at this one. Look at all those snippets. I mean, there is snippets galore in here. Anything I want to use it for, okay? So start creating you a snippet bucket. Get this pin out of here. And we're going to kind of pin this yarn on here at the same time catching the tree trunk. And then we're going to lay this up next to it, cover the very bottom edge there, just attach that. Okay. Now these can just stay kind of loose because I can manipulate those when I get ready, turn them every which way but loose until I get them the way I want them, however I want them at the end. I don't have to have them all down, okay? I think I better put a pin right there. If I'm groaning a little bit, oh goodness, I'm having a back issue. You know, when you get old, everything happens. But anyway, I'm having a back issue, and I can't right now walk without a walker because it's just too painful. I did get to the doctor. Well, let's put it this way. I got yesterday and got my x-rays done so that now I can get my appointment with the back specialist. So next week I have that appointment. Boy, I'm sure glad I'm not dying. It takes so long to get into these doctors anymore. And but meanwhile, me and Advil and Tylenol and my walker are buddies because that's the way I'm surviving. The one good thing is I don't hurt so bad when I'm sitting here at my desk. Isn't that nice? I can sit here and talk to you and work on these projects, and I'm not in a lot of pain when I'm sitting down. So that's good, at least when I'm sitting in some positions. actually my lounge chair is super uncomfortable for me for some reason. So anyway, so there's how I will set that up to sew. And you've seen how I sew my pieces. I just sew around the edges of all my little snippets. I can overcast it. I can put it in rows. I can sew it any way I want to. You know, just however you want to get it down. This is all straight stitching, little couching stitching down in here. Okay, so it really doesn't matter how you want to do that. Now, let me show you the second one that I've finished. And that way you give a little bit more inspiration here. This is the second one that I have finished. And you can see the stitching on that. A little kind of little straight stitches, almost look like feather stitches out here. Just around and about. And on this one, I did a little bit of embroidery stitch here. I liked that with this particular tree. So now we have these two trees. Okay. Let me see. Bring you back down again. There you go. You have these two trees. Okay. And I have a third tree. This one right here. This one is done in darker tones. It's got a piece of lacy trim right here. This one's done in a lot more overcast stitches. Okay, again, yarn down here at the bottom of the tree trunk, leaving about close to an inch around the perimeter. And I'm putting 7 sequins on each one, different color combinations of sequins, but 7 on each tree. And you know, I like to work in odd numbers, so 7 sounded good to me. 4 of one color, 3 in another, basically is what I'm doing on that. This one's got the purple and gold, this one the red and blue, and this one has the copper and black. So pretty, pretty, pretty little trees. Aren't they gorgeous little trees? Okay, so number 4 is coming up here, and I will be sewing it. Then I will be attaching these like I do for all my wild and free little wall quilts and lap quilts from the back side. And then I will be adding the scrappy sashing. Isn't that going to be cute? It's going to look so cute, this scrappy sashing around these. I just love this. This is so versatile. This is going on the owl quilt and on the tree quilt, these little scrappy sashing pieces here. So that will be 1, 2, 3, 4 when I get it made. And that will be a beginning, won't it, of whatever I decide to do with this. Most likely this is going to be wall hanging, probably around 9 squares again, because that's just a great size. But I'll see how my wall space turns out, because I can always add a row, add a couple more squares to actually, you know, make a rectangle or a longer one or a square one, or however I want to do it like that. Okay. But this is a fun project, you know. You can even get your kids in on this one. What kid wouldn't like to make a snippet tree, right? I know the kid in me likes it. Okay, so that's our trees, how our trees are coming along. And when I get this one sewed and a little bit more done, I'll be back with another video. Meanwhile, are you soul stitching with me? Is it coming right out of the heart? That's the way you want to enjoy this. Until next time, stay scrap happy.